They Say What They Can't Radio.
Welcome to SoulShare, a conversation focused on love, intimacy, vulnerability, and emotional intelligence. This is a different kind of relationship dialogue for those who want to make the shift from the ego-driven to more intimate, spirit-nurturing partnerships that satisfy. Because that's what Black love is. Black love is powerful. Black love is soulful. Black love is a love that you can feel. Give thanks. Greetings. I am Sesheta Khepra, the Intimacy Junkie, and welcome to SoulShare. First of all, blessed New Year to everybody. Thank you for being here to kick off my season 3. So, all my co-hosts, introduce yourselves starting from my left.
My name's Cant. I'm here trying to learn a little something, so, just forgive me. But I will give my perspective on things. I mean, good, bad, and different, so that's what's up.
Speak up a little, because, you sound...
I sound muffled?
Put some bass in your voice.
Put some bass in my voice.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I've been here a few times, so...
You've been here with me the entire time, all 3 seasons, okay?
I've been here.
All right.
I'm riding with you.
That's right. My ride or die.
Make sure my bass is working. Hi, good evening. My name is DJ Fresco, The Truth. Former DJ for the livest all-female talk show on boomstation.net, Watch Trouble. Former member of the Madness family. Salute to all my peoples. And here I am.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to jump right into it. And this season, I'm going to be focusing a lot on Black male vulnerability. So that's my topic today. And we're going to be talking about that in the context of masculinity.
Wipe the sweat off my hand.
You might want to take that hat off, or
it's going to get a little interesting.
It's about to get real, bro. It's about to get real.
You can be the star, okay, Fresco? You gonna be the
cut the heat on. I'm ready.
You're going to be the star of my show today, okay? So, first question for the gentleman, okay? What does vulnerability look like to you?
Go ahead, Star.
You heard that, huh?
I heard that. Do your thing.
Let's see. For me, vulnerability comes with no restrictions in terms of, what context are you talking? Relationships, everyday friendships, what are you talking?
All of the above.
All of the above? Okay, so there's levels to everything. So in terms of relationships, when I said what I said, I was speaking in the context of relationships. For me, there's really no boundary when I'm vulnerable in my relationship. And I think that might be toxic. But for me, I'm okay with expressing everything. How I feel, my fears, my deepest, darkest secrets, my likes, my dislikes, what that food tastes like, everything. And so that's basically what I see it as.
Okay.
It's real.
Ken, what does vulnerability look like to you?
For me, honestly, it's like, how would I put it? It's being able to resolve, I guess, issues from a real point within yourself. So, like, if me and my shorty got a problem, instead of, like, lashing out at her and we arguing, it's about expressing to her how maybe something she said made me feel in the moment. It's like the opposite of fighting, if that makes sense. Like, instead of going back at her, attacking her, it's like, how do I express to her how whatever happened made me feel, that made me react in a way that made us, like, separate. Okay. Like in some kind of way, like, trying to build a bridge between us to, you know what I'm saying? Like, help us, like, get back to the point we were before the argument or before whatever happened. And I think that's the hardest part. Like, for me personally, because, like, I'm a funny dude. When it comes to certain things, you hurt my feelings a certain way. Like, I'll be like, all right, cool. I'll take that L. But it's hard for me to get back to where we were before that L. You feel me? So it's like, that's where, to me, the vulnerability is for me. What you said, too, is true, too, though, bro. You know what I mean? But for me personally, like when I think of like vulnerability on that level for me, like on the deepest level, that's where it comes from.
So when you get that hurt that you mentioned before, do you express that she hurt you like that and that she, because that's
Nah.
where the vulnerability is, when you are able to
Correct.
express that, oh, well, yo, she hit you kind of hard and, you
Correct.
know.
But see, there's a vulnerability to me, and I don't want to like get ahead in your agenda, but the vulnerability is one thing, but it has to be some kind of love or comfortability that allows the vulnerability to be like approached, if that makes sense.
All right, it's levels to it.
Yeah. So like if there's nothing that's greater than whatever the issue is, I'm not gonna be vulnerable because to me it's not worth it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you can't be vulnerable with someone, with anyone, if there's no respect or no type or any type of love or anything like that. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because why am I opening up to you if I don't even like you?
But, okay, so do you compartmentalize vulnerability, intimacy, and all of those things?
I do. I don't know if it's right or wrong,
Unfortunately, yeah.
but I do.
Okay.
For sure. That's why I didn't want to get ahead.
No,
what I'm saying? Like-
That however the conversation flows is however it flows. So you do compartmentalize intimacy, love, vulnerability, and all of those things. So you can only be vulnerable with those who you love and you intend to be intimate with.
Absolutely. It gotta be worth it, for sure.
I would more so like to say, like I said, I don't like the word compartmentalize in that regard. That's why I chose to pick levels.
Okay.
You understand? Because like, I just met you. You know, I know you, but this is the first time I'm actually meeting you.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So chances are I'm not crying on your shoulder today if I need to cry. You understand? But if, let's say I know Stephanie, right? If I know Stephanie for a whole year, here I come. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the level. We have that level of a connection to where I can trust her to confide in her. Not saying I can't trust you. It's just we don't have that level of connection yet for you to see me that vulnerable.
But sometimes connection doesn't take place, is not, restricted to time. You know what I mean? You
That's
can
true.
have an immediate connection with somebody and that energy, and you just
just
automatically just want to open up to that person.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
So now
I have yet to see that. I have yet to meet someone where I'm like, when I was 5 years old, I walked into that door right there. No, I've yet to meet someone where automatically I'm opening up to you.
But you know what? There are people like that because I'm an empath, and I just find people, and maybe because I'm an intimacy junkie, and I just allow people, and people are really comfortable around me. People just open up to me just like that. You could be sitting at a bus stop, and some people just come and tell you their life stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just the vibe that people, when they feel safe in your presence, they'll just,
That's true.
they'll just open up to you.
Plus, in certain instances too, like in case of like a tragedy, like you might have somebody who you just met, but they go through something, and they're so real about what they experience, they tell you something, and not like you feel like you owe them something, but because they were so real to you,
Right.
you now are real to them, and you might tell them something that you ain't tell your best friend of 20 years, but you in that moment you felt that sharing kind of real energy.
Exactly.
And then you know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? And then before you know it, you could have a month or two with somebody that you relatively just met, like less than a year. And that's the realest year as far as relationship you ever had compared to people you knew like your whole life.
I call that person my therapist. I just met her. She know my whole life story.
There you go.
Oh,
You know what
my
I'm
goodness.
saying? Like, but you never felt that.
No, that's like love at first sight. I don't believe in it.
Really?
I don't believe in it.
Okay.
That's unfortunate,
I
but
know.
but it happens. You just never experienced
never
it.
experienced
But I think what happens is when you start to open up yourself, you know what I mean. Then people connect to that. So if you're closed off, then chances are you're not gonna be able to attract that level of energy. So when you open up yourself, then people will be attracted to that.
That is true.
You know.
I can agree with that.
But now that you mention being in therapy.
Uh-oh.
That's a great thing. No, because now we're in an era where we're focusing more on mental and emotional health.
Big time.
And that, right, particularly for our Black men.
And for the record, I want to say thank you. Like, the main reason I'm here is because I appreciate that about you. Like, I've seen you rip some Black men apart. I've seen it. But I also see the level of support that you do have in terms of the healing of the mental and the emotional content of a Black man. So I promise you, I would not be here if you weren't like that. I really do appreciate that. That means the world to me.
Give thanks. And we just met each other for the first time, and I've actually bore witness to your growth and your development all on social media, and it's amazing to just sit back and watch you blossom on social media. And that's why I needed to have you here today to start my 3rd season to discuss this topic, because your journey is so inspirational. And I need you to share that and just, be as open as you want to be, as comfortable as you are.
Well, I know when you tried to get me here the first time, I had to deny it because I was in a headspace to where you would have asked me a question about water, and I'd be like, "Well, that fucking woman." I'm sorry. Can I curse?
Absolutely.
My apologies.
You know what I mean? It's real.
She would have asked me a question about water, and I'd be like, "That goddamn woman, she took my this and that," and they'd be like, "Wait a minute, we're talking about water." Like, my headspace was just exactly. My headspace at the time when you first asked me to come, my head was just all over the place. So now I'm a little bit more grounded. I actually finished therapy.
Wow.
I actually finished therapy.
Congrats.
Congrats.
That's a big deal.
Like it took me. It was about 7 months. I almost didn't want to go. To be honest, I almost didn't want to go because of the path it helped me to get back on. Like I've been very open about what I've been going through. Not for the likes at all, but because there's so many people that go through it.
Exactly, and
Especially
that's what
Black
I
men.
admire is your level of transparency
Yeah.
on social media.
I mean, there are things I don't share. There are things I keep to myself, but there are certain things that I'm okay with. You understand? Like everything that you've seen.
Right.
So, yeah, it was hard for me to take the step away from therapy because everything started in the transition in my life. Like the way the universe is set up sometimes, it could be serious or it could be funny. Like instead of me transitioning, through one thing, it was a ton of things. You think you're just gonna get a breakup? Nope. You're gonna get this bill. You're gonna get this debt. You're gonna find a new apartment. You're gonna go through all these things. You're gonna have health concerns, and it was just like.
And how you handle them.
It was a lot of alcohol at first. It didn't work. It was some marijuana smoke. It still works. A lot of gym, but then ultimately, like, seeing you, and there are a lot of other Black women out there that are on that path to, like, really, listen, Black men are our men. We love them. This is what you need. So, like, seeing that there had to be an emotional connection to what I was going through, and I needed that emotional satisfaction, that emotional rejuvenation, therapy was just like monumental to that.
Right.
And like being able to share it comfortable, like with a woman, because like I really confide in women. Like I confide in men too, but I'm more comfortable talking to a woman.
Okay.
So like she basically helped me to realign everything. Like she put all of the roads back where they belong. Like the I-95 is the I-95 now. When you're going through problems, things get distorted. So like I can see everything clearly now, and it was just amazing.
Oh, nice.
It's amazing.
Nice.
And I've been really pressing the issue for a lot of men to go talk to somebody. Most of the men come and talk to me, and I'm just like, bro, I'm not a therapist, but I don't want to turn them away.
Right.
Because I know I ended up becoming a really erratic, irrational person because I was turned away.
Yeah, but you know what? Once you start your healing process, then you'll become a healer.
That is
You
true.
know what I mean? And then people are going to come and seek guidance from you. And that's where you're the inspiration. And I've told you that
Yeah, you
many
have.
times.
And
many times.
And every time you say that to me, I really avoid that title because I don't consider myself a healer because I'm still healing. I'm at a point right now where my legs are not buckling anymore. Like I can stand strong and the wind won't blow me away, but I still have a long road to go because it's been
You all do.
it's the emotional compartmentalization has been so long based off of how Black men are raised. Like we're taught, don't talk about it. Suppress it, man up. That's not what men do. And it's just like it really affects you on a level to where now you start to find yourself missing the things that you need.
Right. So that's the next thing. So now with vulnerability, so in the context of masculinity and how you define masculinity, was there a conflict with that? So
Absolutely.
There's a huge.
talk about it.
It's like most of life. It's like social media. It's fake. It's like there's the perception, and then the reality. You know what I'm saying? Like what you were taught on how you should appear in front of people, compared to actually how you should be. Like what was considered soft is actually what you need to be. You know what I mean? Like, but we weren't given those tools. So it's like your whole life as a boy growing up, you're taught all the wrong shit. So now when you're a man and you're looking at a real woman now and she's looking to relate, you don't have any tools as a grown man to relate to her because everything you've been taught has been wrong. So that's why a lot of women, y'all have the issue like, yo, what's going on with this dude? It's not that we as men don't want to relate to you. We just don't know how most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Because we were taught the wrong thing. So it's like, it's just a crazy dynamic, man. Like,
So you can admit that there is a thing called toxic masculinity
Oh,
because there's a lot of
absolutely.
people who are in, and a lot of men who are in denial that
some of
toxic
them don't know though.
masculinity.
Being real with you, a lot of dudes are how they are based on how they always been, but they don't know any other way.
Right, right.
So when you tell them they're toxic, they're like, "What do you mean?"
right.
You know what I mean? Like they straight look at you like, "What are you talking about?" And it's sincere. It's not like a deflection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they legit don't know what you're
Well,
talking
yeah,
about.
they wouldn't know until they know.
Absolutely.
So then, what is your method to correct your or relearn what it is to be masculine? Because now we're in an era where everybody's redefining masculinity, and I'm not saying necessarily go put on a skirt. I'm not telling you, but how are you redefining masculinity for yourself?
I mean, like a couple days ago, a family member, because like the whole gay thing, I don't know about anybody's family, but like in my family, I'm West Indian, right? So my whole family is West Indian, like everybody, right? So being a homosexual is like, it's like worse than being a murderer, like if that makes sense. You feel me? Yeah. So it's like there's members in my family who are homosexual. And I got a big family, so it makes sense. Like, I mean, everybody can't be straight out of 200 people. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's gonna be on both sides, men and women. You know what I mean? But I don't think our family's ready to have that conversation.
Oh no.
But the person in my family who, I want to say came out, because he didn't really come out, but a few people are aware of what's going on with him and his real truth. I'm like, yo, bro, it is what it is. You better off living the realest you could be than to be trying to hide and be somebody else when on the inside you're fighting yourself.
Yeah.
Like, and to me, that was something that's a point I never thought I could get to, where I sincerely wish that he would be his truest self, even if he's a homosexual. Like, bro, do that. Because that's you. You know what I'm saying? Like, love yourself in whatever space you're in so that you could be who you need to be for the world and everybody around you. I never thought, like, in my wildest dreams, yo, like, I'm talking about, we grew up Caribbean, sound clash culture. We be everywhere. You feel me?
Indeed.
Every song is like anti-gay, kill this, kill that. But these same people ain't telling you in their own family and some of their own kids are also homosexual. So what are you gonna do? You gonna kill your son, fool?
Yeah.
Like, it's like there's a lot of that. So like that's the realest example of when it comes to masculinity, but being vulnerable and being real. Like, I never thought I'd get to that point.
But that's all part of it, because we've had millions of conversations for hours at a time about the courage it takes to be your most authentic self. And that's the beginning to getting to be your most authentic self is vulnerability. So to be authentic, you have to be vulnerable. You have to have a level of integrity. So now, how have you started to redefine masculinity as far as you know it?
I've always had a strong sense of integrity. Like to piggyback off of what he said, I didn't grow up Caribbean. My father's side of the family is from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
I never was one to be a hypocrite. You know, like if we go according to the Bible, if the Bible says homosexuality is wrong, so is murder. Or what I look like turning somebody away for being gay. You know what I'm saying? If it's both wrong, everybody has a sense of sin. So for me, like I would never condemn someone for their choice. Just don't affect me negatively with it. So in terms of me with masculinity, it was more like integrating the emotional intelligence and the feelings and being able to be okay with it. Like, prime example, growing up in the hood, men shedding tears doesn't get you any respect, you know? And I've had to come to terms with knowing, like, I'm not a violent person. I'm not a violent person by nature, but I do defend mine. So I had to openly accept the fact that if I have to defend mine against another man, I might have tears in my eyes, but it's not going to take away from my masculinity and me showing the strength that I'm going to defend mine. You understand? Like, that's like the biggest alteration to masculinity that I'm trying to implement within myself. I think I remember saying to you one day, and I actually felt your wow. I said to you one day, I could stand before someone with a gun in my face and be perfectly okay. But when it comes to my feelings and allowing a woman in, it's just they're like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think I have the Teflon for that. I might not have the right bullets for that. That's a little
So in other words, so you fear vulnerability, or you fear women more than you fear a gun?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if he fears women. I think
it's not women. It's the rejection and the pain that comes from heartbreak. That's a different kind of pain. Like we not built for that. We're not. And you know why? Let's take it back to what you said earlier. To piggyback off of that, it's the way we're brought up.
Right.
Boys, if you look at little boys and little girls, I don't know how it works in the Caribbean house, in the Caribbean family, but I know in my family, the boys in my family are given cars and G.I. Joes and Legos taught to destroy. The girls are given Barbie dolls and diaries and little whatever, nursing stuff, taught to build, taught to take care of. So it's just they're like, with that dynamic, it's like, it's almost okay for me to be in the presence of a gun. But like, if I have to deal with someone that, I find myself attached to, and you might potentially break my heart, now mind you, I don't know how to deal with that. Like, I know how to deal with someone in that situation. I didn't know how to deal with heartbreak. You can't deal with heartbreak the same way you deal with someone with a gun.
It's different muscles.
It's a total different muscle.
Yeah,
so it's just they're like, I can look at you and be like, all right, well, I mean, I'm gonna die anyway, so do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But for a woman to give my heart to, like, I'm still recovering off a breakup. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like crazy. It took every ounce of prayer and sage and talk and cry and everything for me to get through that, because I didn't know how to get through that.
Wow.
Like it was rough, really rough. So I'm trying to master being the king that I am without cutting off the fact that I am a human being and I am going to experience these emotions and these feelings, and there may be moments where I'm distraught or I'm sad or I'm conflicted, and I'm just gonna accept it.
So women, when they go through heartbreaks and when they have to address their emotions, they have their hen sessions. They have, they go through and they talk through it, because of course we're trained to do that. So with guys, what is it that you guys do? Y'all just go to the strip clubs or what?
Find something, smash. You find a new chick, you get over the old one. You pick up a bottle of Henny or whatever it is. You go to the gym.
Roll up.
You roll up. You just do things that don't involve the emotional aspect of it.
Okay. Well, now that you are well into your healing journey, are you prepared to start healing circles for your brothers and those that's in your network, so that they can have a safe space to talk to each other? So, or do you think that men generally will be more comfortable sharing with a woman? Or because you said your therapist is a woman, because that's where you're most comfortable being.
Right.
So, because I always and you see a lot of these studies that says that I guess black men, they need black teachers, and we need black male therapists because that's who they're most comfortable being, I guess, expressing themselves to.
Right.
So what do you think that, should there be that circle where men, have, where you say you go out and you into the nature or something like that, have a little retreat, or however you envision it, where you guys can just go and create a safe space so that you can share.
Man, for people I know, to be honest with you, I don't really see something like that working. I think dudes are too scared for that. You know what I mean? Like, they're too scared to be in front of other brothers and express the same vulnerability you're talking about. I think more like what you did, bro, where you went, sought out a therapist, somebody you don't know, but you could build a level of comfort with a stranger where you could tell them whatever, might be more feasible than,
That's
linking up.
You don't want that judgment from your peers.
Exactly. Like, you don't want to link up with dudes from your hood. Like, y'all known each other from whatever, y'all got locked up together, y'all did all kinds of shit together, and then now y'all somewhere in the woods talking about, yeah, bro,
Yeah, well, keeping with the masculinity code, I don't foresee the woods or curled up on the couch with a pint of ice cream with our bare feet. That's something y'all could
Well, I
get away.
mean, I'm saying, I don't know, chop wood and
Y'all get away with it.
share,
But
I don't know.
I do happen, like, I won't call it a circle, but I do have a group of guys that I do speak to. We do link up every Monday and talk, and I'm actually looking to begin something like that because I know there are some men looking for outlets like that, and as he said, there are some men that are uncomfortable with it. You don't want to just come and talk to some guys because some guys can't sit at the table together and resonate on the same level. It's nothing personal. It's just the way they were built. Like, I can't tell you how to be West Indian, just like you can't tell me how to be Puerto Rican.
It's a fact.
You understand? But there are men looking for that outlet. There are men looking for that safe space to speak without the judgment of society, without feeling like they're going to be belittled because they're expressing things that the hood teaches them not to express. So I am actually working on
and
something
they're
like
scared.
Nice.
Let me repeat that.
We gonna speak that.
They
A
are
lot
scared.
of a lot of dudes are scared.
That's true.
Scared to death. Like the brother said, dudes in my hood, you pull a hammer on them, they're like, bro, what you doing with that? Like, what you doing? Or let me go my way. But when it come to
Feelings.
what happened to them when they was 8 years old, they don't want to talk about that at all. That's a whole different thing. Like, that's what grips you on the inside. Like, yo, that's when you see the real fear. Like, dudes ain't trying to have that conversation, man. Especially in front of
a bunch of dudes that
Come
might
on,
judge
man.
them.
They ain't trying to hear that. Well, the dudes I know. But big up to the dudes you know who's willing to do it. I mean, because it's necessary. You know what I mean? And we need to have a starting point where the same way we were taught the wrong stuff, we stop that and learn the right stuff and let future generations have that opportunity to learn. You know
And
what
it
I'm saying?
starts right there with the woman.
So it's on us. Well, I have
No,
and
I won't say it's on y'all. I would not put that pressure on y'all.
okay.
But knowing that there are women out there that are not going to judge us for expressing ourselves, it makes it all the more easier, especially when the women are like us. Because my therapist was black. She's actually from Trinidad.
Okay.
And I know for a fact she held back a lot of, what he motherfucker this man just say to me. I know for a fact she held a lot of that back. Because like you said, you talk about what you went through as the 8-year-old, 9-year-old, it's just they're like, well, goddamn, So back to what I'm saying, knowing that there are women out there that are okay with it, like that will welcome that. It gives men that sense of comfort. Like when you welcome it genuinely. Because remember, a lot of men do things for women. We spaz out when we get rejected by women. We go out and get this car, we show all this money because we want the attention from women. So to have a woman that's willing to listen to us and allow us to be vulnerable, allow us to be, comfortable with crying or talking or venting without the judgment, without the rejection, without the rejection, it makes all the difference.
So is the fear greater of the judgment from women or judgment from other men? So which fear is greater, or is it on an equal level?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think it's an individual thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I can't really speak to that. You know what I mean? Like each person has to know. Like my brother here said, he's perfectly fine talking to a woman about whatever. You prefer that. Some dudes prefer another man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that they're more relatable. Like
Right.
you're just like me, so you should understand what I'm saying.
Because that's what I've always witnessed, and you know, in my observation, it always seems like men have more intimate connections to other men as opposed to their women partners, where their women are constantly trying to break down that barrier. She's constantly trying to connect to him, whereas he's more comfortable connecting to his homies and his brethren, and you know, that's what I've always witnessed.
I wouldn't really call it intimate. I would like to say more relatable.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like it's more relatable because I mean, in the hood, we don't necessarily discuss what we went through, like when we were 8 or 9, like he said. Or it's not like, oh well, I felt like this the other day, you know, like I couldn't say anything like that in the hood. But in terms of that, like I think it's how it's approached by the woman, or the connection between the man and the woman, and how it's approached. That would make that more easier to have that type of conversation between the man and the woman.
So what is your advice to women as to how should she approach her man when she wants to connect to him and try to, you know, break down those walls and those barriers when she sees that he's, you know, completely guarded and, you know, he's struggling?
Man, I think both parties need to go to counseling first.
Individually or together?
Like
Okay.
I think
Agreed.
because like I think if the example you gave, the woman is already whole, then that's a fair question. But these days, both black men and black women are scarred beyond belief, and are both like traumatized beyond belief.
Preach.
So now we're both trying to like see each other in a positive light, but it's hard because we're both hurt. Like, look, hurt people really do hurt people.
Yeah.
So especially hurt people who like have a certain kind of love for each other, because now everything you do matters.
Yeah.
So if I do something and it make you feel a way, you're gonna lash out. And when you lash out, I'm gonna lash out. But I'm not lashing out at what you did to hurt me now. I'm lashing out based on all the pain from 1986. That's what I'm throwing at you.
We're all in self-preservation mode,
But
so
that's what I'm trying to
and
say,
when
so-
you're in that self-preservation mode, you become
It's different.
predatory.
That's
you
a
know
fact.
What I mean?
So what I'm saying is, it's really not a fair question, because if one person's whole and the other one ain't, it still ain't gonna work. If we both ain't whole, it definitely ain't
Definitely
gonna
ain't
work.
gonna work.
So that question only applies to two whole people.
Well, you know, and being that there's a lot of within our community, the unwillingness to go to therapy, you know, so that just we're in a very challenging place
Yeah, it's a tough
right
spot.
now.
It's a fact.
So, you know, there's as
Nah,
I,
but bro, you was gonna say something just now, but I cut you off. My fault.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Talk.
Oh,
You ain't
go
gonna
ahead.
share your thought?
Of
Go ahead,
course.
share-
I'll
go ahead,
wait.
share-
I'll wait.
no, go ahead, share your thought. Go
Now,
ahead.
I was gonna say, for the women to know not to make it personal if the man doesn't respond automatically. Because remember, we started at the beginning of the show talking about how we were raised.
Right.
If we're not raised in a particular way, shape, or form, then you can't expect that from us. You know, so
It's true too.
understand that if we let you in some regard, that we want you to be there, but we're trying to figure out how to get there and to get you there in the safest possible way for us, because again, we don't know how to use that muscle as well as you do.
Right.
So
right.
just like don't take it personal if I start to open up and I draw back.
Yeah.
You know, like
A lot of patience is
a
necessary.
A lot of patience.
You know, and I also believe that a lot of forgiveness, because we have to forgive people for where they are in their journey. You know what I mean? Even if they're not in the same place that you are in your journey, and we just have to exercise a lot of patience with that. And I think that's what we struggle with the most. A lot of people, they have no patience with each other, and it's just like we're just at the first sign of challenge, you know, I'm not dealing with that. You know, I'm done with that, and and I see a lot of women where I'm not here to fix no broken men. You know what I mean? And that's the attitude and I believe that it's going to be on us to, to lead to be the light, because we have exercised that muscle more so than our men. So it's going to be on us.
I mean, yeah, but I respect that position too. Like,
Facts.
if you're a woman and you got to a point where you're like, you've been through all that, you healed yourself, you probably done healed like 2-3 dudes, you ready for a real dude now your damn self. Like, you're not trying to be like the trainer. You feel me? Like, you ready for your deal so you could be happy now too.
But understanding that our brothers are in a serious crisis. And that's not and it's not necessarily just about our community. It's also because we live in the greater society is toxic. We live in a sexist, misogynistic culture. So even on a macro level, it's a bigger concern. So now I don't think we can afford to take that type of attitude, because
I see
then
where you're coming
if
from,
no,
but
it
it's
becomes draining. Though.
no, it does.
It does.
It does.
and that healing thing ain't for everybody. But go ahead, Seth.
To have to constantly try to be like, okay, I'm there for you, I'm there for you, I'm there for you, but you're not giving me what I need, but I have to give all of me to you.
Right. That's
it's
draining.
draining.
That's
I get that. You know what I mean? Because you have to decide when it becomes too toxic and when you have to disconnect to protect your energy and to protect your spirit. But if nobody is, providing or being that light, if nobody is providing that guidance to our men, then you're not going to get there. So while you're looking for that ready-made guy, you know what I mean, the numbers aren't there. You know what I mean? So like, it's like you're looking for a ready-made guy, but somebody has to get him there. So you're waiting for some other woman to do the work so that she can be the...
Well, she probably already did, though, because the 2 dudes that she healed already ain't for her. They for you
for somebody
and
else.
somebody else.
Right.
So somebody's doing her work. She's doing somebody work, but she ready for hers now. And I don't think it's fair to put that healing training on every woman. Like, every woman ain't supposed to like you're specific. Like, you're an empath, like you said. Like, you walk around like trying to heal everything you touch. You feel me? Like, that's a different vibe.
She was trying to reach me. She was trying to reach out to me through Facebook.
You see what I'm saying?
I saw
Like,
the hand. I saw the hand coming
that's how Kimmy
Got
moved,
you.
though. But not every woman is like that. You feel me? And some women, especially when you get to certain, like, I honestly look at it, there's a lot of women right now who've done a lot with their lives. Like, they went to school, got their masters, got a great job. They holding their own. Like, they're good. They're just waiting for someone to meet them even 60-40 and they Gucci. They ain't got time to be out here like running around with dudes because you staying home playing PlayStation and smoking weed with your boys, and meanwhile she's at work grinding and picking up the kids and cooking and coming to give you some box at the end of the night. Like, that's a lot on a day-to-day. You feel me?
I can tell you from experience, why I would never put that type of pressure on women is because I have actually, for the last 12 years of my life, I've been trying to be a healer for the woman that was a part of my life. 12 years I've been in 3 relationships. Each one of them were broken in their own way. And I actually had to sacrifice my desires, what I want. I've given up jobs. I've given up residencies as a DJ. I could have become DJs for certain artists. So many things. And the fact of the matter, first and foremost, the fact that they're not here hurts. You understand? Because like they got what they needed or whatever they could get from me, and that was that. But it was so taxing. Like as she said, it took such a toll on me to where this particular journey, this last relationship, I needed to talk to somebody because I didn't know who the hell I was anymore. Like, I invested so much in my soul, my life, my energy, my strength, my knowledge, and I gave it all thinking that maybe I would get it back. Like, I kept pouring from my glass. It only had drops, thinking that maybe you would just say, okay, here, tip a little bit back into me. No, I didn't get any. So after a while, it wears you down to the point where you're lost. So, like, I would never put the responsibility on women to be the healer for men. what I would ask is that just leave the door open. You know, leave the window open. That's not say the door, because some people don't need to walk into your door, but leave the window open. Let me know that if I need to talk, if I need some type of advice, I can just come to the willow. Yo, Sesheta, I need to talk. Oh, Stephanie, you know, I need such and such. You know, like, but y'all don't deserve the burden to be the healer for all men. Men have to want to heal first.
Right. Agreed.
They have to want to heal. Like that, I wanted that. Like I got tired of being lost. I got tired of being dizzy. 1 minute I'm good, the next minute I'm broken. I got so sick of that. So I wanted it. And like, look at where I'm at right now.
I got a question though, bro. I'm sorry. This.
No, go ahead. Do it.
How did you get to that point? Like, I've probably had in my life. I'm 41. I probably had 2 relationships where I was that willing to give of myself. You did it back to back to back. Like, where did that come from? Like, where'd you learn that? Is that just who you are? Or like, were you taught that through your family? Like, women in your family, men in your family? Like, how'd you get to a point where you could meet a woman and legit give your all every time?
I have to summarize this because this requires a thesis. It has
Got
like
you.
an
Nah,
entire,
do your thing. Do your
Express
thing.
yourself.
Nah,
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough time for this, so I'm gonna summarize it. Firstly, it was because of the trauma I experienced as a child from my mother. I come from an abusive household.
Okay.
And not to take away from my mother. I love my mother to pieces. I just didn't love what she did to me.
Got you.
Like we always had food, we always had a roof over our head, but we lacked the love. We lacked it major. So something I realized in therapy, my effort in my relationships was the result of the love that I wanted to receive from my mother.
Got you.
And I would push extra, you know, because like at the end of the day, as a child, you don't understand why you getting your ass whooped sometimes. Like, you know, if you break something or you throw a pot or you cut in school or you fail in school,
you did something.
that's your ass whooping.
Right.
I was getting my ass whooped a lot of times for no reason. Like a lot of times. And then you add insult to injury, she would get drunk and come home and it was just there like, okay, hopeful that maybe if she saw me that I rearranged the shelf, you know what I'm saying, I folded her laundry, you know, it would make me receive the love that I'm supposed to receive, mother versus child, you know what I'm saying? So in my relationships, I would give that extra in hopes that I would receive the love from the woman that I'm with that I didn't receive from my mother when I was putting forth the effort. So now that transferred, because I also had my father in my life as well. My father in terms of trying to figure himself out, because he was trying to figure himself out while I was growing up. One of the things he would do, he would always help people. Like my father, when he got his first house phone, it would ring off the hook. People would call him up for advice. You know, he would take me to places with him. He's sitting there guiding people, talking to people. So having the experience of trying to help, you know, from what I went through with my mother, and now it translates to watching my father do that, naturally I just picked up the notion to be helpful. And I blame 90s music too, you know. 90s R&B music. And every time she's on Facebook talk about 90s music, 70s music, 80s music, I just be looking at it and I just like, you ever notice I never like those posts?
Why?
Any post you talk about 70s and 80s R&B, I never like any of them because that music is the devil. That music tells you give to her, love her, do this for her, but it doesn't tell you look for reciprocity. It doesn't tell you get back. It just tells you keep giving. So all those 3 elements.
I love 80s because you know them slow jams and 80s slow jams, 70s slow jams. That is the soundtrack to black male vulnerability.
Toxic.
It's toxic.
Nah, I'm just joking. It's not toxic.
Nah, but I'll say this though. You see how you just expressed that? There's something me and Kimmy talked about too. I think certain women, when they encounter vulnerability, they become predatory.
That's an entire fact.
Wow, let's talk about that.
That's an entire fact.
Let's talk about
Like,
that. Let's
certain women like vulnerability from a certain man. They don't like it from every man.
That's a whole fact.
Like, if you see a dude as a sucker, You see how you just shook your head? Regardless of what he does, you see him as a sucker. If you see a dude who's a real dude that shows you vulnerability, you're in love. Because you're like, he's a real dude, but he could show me a softer side. But there's nothing that dude could do who you view as a sucker. He ain't got nothing coming. So
You're absolutely right.
when you see him as a sucker, this man could be literally trying to win your love any way he knows how. He'll pick you up from work. He'll drop you by your mama house. He'll pick your kids up, and you will legit use him.
But that's
Use
across
him.
the board. Men do it to women.
Agreed. I'm not saying that it's not the same on both sides.
I don't play with emotions. I really don't.
What I'm saying though is based on what he said, and that's what I'm telling you. Like, women say that they want that vulnerability, but it still has to come in a certain package for them. Don't think it's like you know what I'm saying? Like it's
And it's funny because, we had this conversation about Tupac. And I think that's why so many women view Tupac as their soulmate. So I was watching the documentary Hopeless in Love with where they focused on Left Eye and Andre Rison. And Lisa Left Eye Lopez, she referred to Tupac as her soulmate. And then also Jada Pinkett Smith also had that type of relationship, and everybody seemed to view Tupac because I guess he was that balance between the hard and the soft. So he was able to balance the masculine energy and that feminine energy.
I got thoughts. I don't think it's balanced with Pac, but that's just me. I think that dude was like who he needed to be
when he needed to be it.
I think, and I'm probably one of a few dudes who thinks that. Like, he was not as real as people think he is, all that thug life. Because like I said, man, Tupac got shot up and beat up all the time. I ain't never heard he shot up or beat up nobody. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just, in whatever moment, he was like a chameleon.
A morph.
Like,
he morphs.
Yeah.
Like he morphs
if
into
he
what
with
he
thugs,
needs to be.
he the super thug. He the thug who gonna get all the thugs hype to go do some thug shit. But when he with y'all, he gonna be the sweetest, nicest dude with y'all. Y'all ain't gonna see no thug life. Y'all gonna see a softer, more empathetic, compassionate Tupac who writes poetry.
So you don't think he was both? So or you just think
my
that
personal opinion,
you
I think
he was more of the
poet.
The poet and less of the thug.
I think he was more the poet, and if he had stuck to the poetic lane, he'd probably still be here.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
When he tried to be that thug and all that, you seen how it ended. He died and he didn't even need to die. Honestly, like that whole situation with Sugar, I'm speaking on it like I know him, but based on what I've seen and observed, he didn't have to die.
But we had this conversation, and that goes back to being able to be courageous and having that courage to be your most authentic self. And we talked about that where Tupac didn't have the courage to be his most authentic self, and he expressed this, in interviews where he felt that Hollywood and I guess the streets wanted him to have that thug image, and he said, and he expressed that necessarily wasn't him, but that's what people wanted. So he's like, okay, that's what you want. I'll give you that, even though that's not what he really was. So he didn't have the courage to be his most authentic self, and that, essentially cost him, his life. Right. And I guess that's a message to all people, that we should be, living our most authentic lives, because if we're not, then we're actually, we're promoting our own demise.
Yeah, you putting yourself in a bad spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. You know what I mean? So with that, that was a kind of a bad example because I had thoughts on that, but you were onto something there. It's just this whole situation with black men and black women and viewing each other in the correct light and healing each other, and the timing got to be right, and we got to be at that certain level at the same time. Like, there's a lot of variables that go into it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just a quick fix. Like, all right, well, you heal yourself, I heal myself, and we good. Because even then, two healed people, now everything about us changes. How you view life changes when you're healed now. So now it could be someone you loved like eternally when you were like broken because they helped you, but now that you're whole, you still love them, but just not in the same way.
Yeah, that's possible.
So it's like
there's
it's a lot
there's
of
men
shit.
in my life who I love, but I had to disconnect to protect my soul, and it was just like, I don't even speak to them anymore, and it's just like there's no, I'm not vexed. There's no hatred, but I have to protect my energy, and it's like I love you for everything that they taught me, but you know what? It's best that we just don't speak.
You basically reshape the love. It's not the same.
Yeah,
You reshape it into what's comfortable for you.
Yeah, absolutely, and you just have to make that choice for yourself, because when you become healed, you want the best for yourself, and you start to protect your energy. So now, what have you done? What separations have you made or changes you have made now that you are into your journey?
In terms of what?
In terms of protecting your energy, drawing your boundaries and that type of stuff.
Oh, wow. Well, since my healing is still fresh, I'm not having sex. That's cut off. And women are trifling. I swear I could put some people on blast right now for when I said that. I got all type of Pornhub shots and XNX, all them websites in my inbox, but I'm not really interested in the connections right now. I need to. What I learned in therapy is that, like I said, I give too much, and I don't take back. And once upon a time, that's fine. But the way the world is set up right now, and what's best for me, is I need to be with someone that can give the exact same output that I can give. Like if I'm giving you 100, I need to get back 100.
All right.
I'll take 90 if there's kids involved. Because at the end of the day, I would never ask a woman, if they're not my kids, I would never ask a woman to put me above her children. Never that. Like, there's only certain instances where I come before a kid, regardless of what it is. Like, when it's time to eat, you got to take care of me, because I can't take care of you if I'm not taken care of. That's another conversation in itself.
Okay, so you want the big piece of chicken? Yeah.
I don't eat chicken, but yes, that's the point. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm just taking time out for me. Like, this is a new practice for me. I've done the vulnerability thing alone, and I've done the guarded cutoff thing alone. So like, I'm trying to figure out how to mesh the two.
Okay.
And I'm also trying to figure out how to mesh the two in this society, because this society that we live in has it out for us. Like,
That's a fact.
everywhere you look, it's like, oh my goodness. I think black men are more hated now than they were back in the 40s and in slavery times.
And by who?
By everyone. By everyone.
Really? You're including black women in that
I'm
as well?
definitely including black women in this one.
Wow.
Like, you and I had a brief discussion, and I think I was just there like, oh God, I don't feel like fighting with this woman right now. She's so strong. But I had made a point, and you didn't like it. I said, one of the reasons why black men are so destructive towards black women is because of the music. You remember what you said?
No.
But you have an idea what you want to say.
No. Enlighten me.
You kind of like shut that down. That's BS.
Don't make me seem like I'm a bully. I'm
No.
not a bully.
She's with the camera. She's not a bully.
Yo, she's a bully,
strong
bro. Bro, she's a bully, bro.
She's a bully. That. I didn't elaborate. The music is helping for the destruction in terms of how men are treating women, because the men don't have any guidance.
Okay.
Like, remember the most dangerous thing to white people is the black family. How many men in this generation come from a black family?
Okay.
Like, it's either the mother or it's the boys on the street. There's no man in most of these men's lives that are destroying black women. And that's really detrimental to being able to differentiate from who you following. You following Tupac the poet, or you following Tupac the gangster? Having that sound family structure to help you, to guide you down that path. Like, my household growing up was very destructive. It was crazy, but I did have some form of guidance. Like, although my father was trying to figure himself out, he was able to help me when I needed it. You know, like you shouldn't do that. You should do this. Okay, I got that. But then he couldn't help me on other paths.
But how did that? I don't understand where, with the music, where you said that the music isn't helping. Like, which music are you referring to?
Well, of course, I'm not referring to soca.
Okay.
You would never.
Of course, I'm not
Never.
referring to soca.
So is life.
And that what you just said is exactly why I didn't respond to her. Because like, how can you sit up here and say soca's life, but you couldn't understand how music like hip hop and this R&B that these kids are listening to is poisoning the hell out of them.
Dancehall too.
Dance hall too.
But see, I agree. So I don't see. I think you have me confused with somebody else.
No. I'm only talking about the one instance. I'm not judging you. I'm not saying this is how you are on a regular basis. I'm just talking about that one time I shared a post saying that music is a part of the destruction for black men, and it's contributing to the way they treat black women. He was like, oh hell no, that's kind of like.
Well, no, I agree on some levels that maybe the current music is toxic.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I agree. I don't recall that conversation, so I think you're getting me confused with somebody else, because I would agree that the current music.
Facebook has what they call memories, and I will share that
So
memory.
wait. So you got receipts? Okay.
We gotta hold you accountable.
I saw Duchess on the Breakfast Club. She had receipts. I got receipts. But again, I didn't respond because I didn't elaborate. Like I said, it's not solely the music, because we had our music back in the days when Nasty Nas was on his flex. You know, so you give MOP a beat, you know, but we also had that guidance. We had that, you know, well, the family would come and sit and talk to you. Snoop, I remember the first time I listened to Doggy Style, and my mother just so happened to hear that, and my father came over, and it was an entire conversation about why you shouldn't do this, why you shouldn't love hoes, and all this other stuff that I was listening to.
Right.
This generation of men doesn't really have that, especially in dancehall. I think dancehall is just as detrimental, because.
And this is why you should be listening to 70s and 80s R&B and slow
No,
jams.
you didn't hear what I just went through because of the 70s and the 80s music. I'm sitting here giving everything and I'm not getting nothing back. I can't listen to that no more.
But we have our music too. I mean, we have our female artists, and we talking about love and everything like that. So it wasn't just the male artist that was talking about, you know, giving all of themselves. But you know what? I do believe that there wasn't necessarily a balance between the female artists that was singing, because I think in the 70s and 80s, it was the male artist that was dominating with all of the love songs and the ballads. And there was very, very few female artists that was, you know, providing that balance towards them.
Yeah.
And I will admit
You
to
had
that.
Shaka Khan, you had a Tina Turner,
Whitney Houston.
Yeah,
Yes,
Whitney.
the Stephanie Mills,
Yeah.
and you know what? But I believe that there was definitely more men, and men was way more vulnerable.
right? Because there was
than-
groups. There was groups of men. There was only like one woman, but it was a group of guys. 5 of them.
More than 5, bro. It was
No, I'm just saying the 5 heartbeats. That's what I
Oh,
said.
you
5
mean
of
like
them.
groups?
Yeah,
Okay.
like
No, I'm talking about, yeah. You have all of the super groups, and you have all of the, you know, because and I'm going to see him next month, Jeffrey Osborne, and I'm a huge Jeffrey Osborne LTD fan, and you know, he is like the epitome of black male vulnerability.
Oh
to
wait,
me.
for the record, I love dancehall music. I just realized that we live in sensitive times. My Instagram would have been crazy. You talk about dancehall music
people
like
come
that?
at you
I'm just
stupid,
calling it
yeah.
like I see it. I don't know. I haven't heard a dancehall track in years talk about love.
Well, dancehall is not
Dancehall
about
is
that's
not about
reggae.
love.
You know,
Right,
you got
it's
the
not.
conscious reggae.
It's not. This
Dancehall
conscious reggae.
You know, you have
and the love
other.
is rock.
There's like Dexter Daps,
Dexter
and
Daps, yeah.
Popcorn. And,
Once we
This-
wait,
Whoa,
before we go
whoa,
into the music, because he will talk about reggae and dancehall for the next
no, I'm
6
just saying
hours.
they
know.
exist.
You know what I
That's
mean?
what I'm
Because
saying.
he is like
I'm
a
defending
music
my
nerd.
people, yo.
Yeah. He's a music
Word.
nerd.
Oh, I'm not coming for nobody. I'm just
Word.
saying,
Nah,
I'm
he
making a
good,
point.
y'all. He
But we
good.
have to
I love
wrap this up
dancehall music. I
because
love
we're,
dancehall
you know,
music.
we're at the end of the show, and we're gonna continue this conversation because there's so much to talk about, and I didn't even get to, you know, the women and how we view men and vulnerable men, which you touched on a little while. So we're gonna continue these conversations, and I hope you guys are gonna come back and fit because you guys were so amazing.
Yeah, I'll be back definitely.
Yes.
I'm with it.
All right. See,
I can't promise every week, but
You know, no, we don't
pull
do
up.
this every week, but you know, just as long as you can tell me that, you know,
No, I'll be
we're going to try to make a commitment to, you know, put this out there and serve the public about and making it cool for black men to be vulnerable, cool to love again.
And make a note about what my brother said. We gotta talk about that next time. He said, right now, black men are more hated today by everybody.
That's
That's
a
what this
fact.
man just said.
Yes.
I don't know about
Than
that.
back in the 1940s.
We're
You gotta
gonna-
write
we're gonna
that down.
Wrap this up.
Yeah,
We're gonna,
wrap it
no,
up. Make
we're
that a
gonna-
note for next
no,
time.
yeah, you're gonna remind me, and we're gonna do that
If
because
I'm
we're
here, I
back
got
here
you.
next week taping,
Okay.
and this is what we're going to discuss next week. Everybody's good.
I'm good.
All right.
I
So
should be.
this is Sesheta Khepra, the Intimacy Junkie, and we are signing out. Thank you for the first episode of season 3.